are so excited to be back with Love, Light, and Healing with Colette Lopine Capella. It's a little different. We're on a Zoom meeting right now instead of in person, but I am still so very excited to have Maggie, my dear friend, on today to talk a little bit about what she does. She is absolutely fantastic. This show, I'm Colette, and if you haven't tuned in before, this show is to bridge together the mind, body, and soul. And we have amazing light workers, as I like to call the healers in this world, come on and share a little bit about what they do and about themselves, and just to have fun. So have some giggles, some laughs, and to learn. So today we have Maggie, my doula, my favorite human ever, who has brought my two children into this world, on today. Also the owner of Two New Hands. And I'm going to throw the ball in your court so you can introduce yourself, Maggie. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Colette. This is really fun.
Love that you're here. So I know how amazing you are and the wonderful things you do, but can you tell the audience a little bit about what you do and your company and who you are, a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Maggie Rosenfeld. I am a birth and postpartum doula, and I support families all over the tri-state area. I'm really close to people in Westchester primarily. And when I'm not doulaing, I also run a business called Two New Hands, where we supply family helpers to families in need who need kind of on and off child support, not like full-time nannies, but just like, those times where you need to fill in the blank. I kept seeing that in my doula work, this need was really great. And so I wanted to bring this service to the community because I kept seeing the need keep popping up. And so during the pandemic is when I launched this new business, and it's been really fun. So I've been doulaing for about 6 years, and Two New Hands is my new baby. And so I'm doing both of these things right now, and it's good. It's keeping me busy.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm sure it's keeping you very busy. You have your hands full. Two hands full. I want to share with everyone. So Maggie and I went to school together for mental health, which is so exciting. And that's how we initially met. And then, as I had mentioned in the beginning, she was my doula for both of my son's births, which was an absolute joy and amazing experience because of Maggie. And I mean that. But I really want you to share with the viewers how you transitioned from mental health to doula work and even into like the childcare, into the Two New Hands. Tell us a little bit about that.
It'd be my pleasure. Okay, so I think that one thing that's like overarching in all of these lines of work is that they're all helping professions. And I've definitely been someone that has been drawn to doing like service oriented stuff my entire life. And so I studied with Colette. We got our master's together in mental health counseling. And I was doing that for a while, and I loved that work. And then I went into organizational psychology, and I worked in sort of like a corporate setting for a while. And during that time, a really dear friend of mine, she had a really, what she might consider a traumatic birth experience, how she would describe it. And she was sharing with me just, she had her wonderful mother and her wonderful husband there, but it just wasn't exactly, she needed an additional type of support. Mm-hmm. And it made me realize, oh, I wonder if that is available to people. Like, what is that? And so I started doing my research, and I found doula work online, just doing like a search, and realized there's like an entire community of people that are helping people birth. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. So I just thought, oh, I'll take a course and see if I like it. So I got trained as a doula, and I did not think I could make it into a profession. And so once I got trained, everyone I knew was having babies. And I went to one birth and then another birth, and then I was in love with it. And so I got some mentorship from a really wonderful midwife in Manhattan named Tanya Wills. And it was really what sparked everything at that point. She kind of gave me that confidence to make it into a business. And so I left the corporate world, and I use my mental health skills all the time in this work.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
all
Yes.
And so, all these things kind of built on each other. And essentially, I didn't know I could make it into a business, but it launched. And then the beautiful thing is I've been able to mentor other doulas, which has been really special. And then I got into postpartum care. So that's like the other side. There's many types of doulas. So I do birth work and postpartum work. And there's, full spectrum doulas who help with, from abortion to death and everything in between. And really special stuff. So that's kind of what led me into the birth world. Is this dear friend kind of sharing with me what she was missing, and then I made it into a career, which was really fun. And then I kept seeing that my postpartum clients, which is really when you support a family for the first 4 to 5 months of a baby's life, could be a little shorter depending on what somebody needs. And so they kept asking, well, who comes next? I'm done with the doula, but I'm still needing some extra hands. And so I would like call colleges and see if I could find somebody who wanted like some part-time work, but it was too much for me to juggle with my other work. And so I just heard it, buzzing in my head over and over again. And so I decided to organize Two New Hands, which is my new business. And that basically brings this kind of part-time support to families where which is doula-ish, which, they support not only with childcare, but also with like little tasks in your house, like putting away the dishes or folding the laundry, just the stuff that makes your home feel like chaotic.
Yes, yes. Gives you some grounding, right, in that environment. Brings you back to base.
Yes, exactly. So that's kind of where it all has led me. And I feel like the mental health world is pulling me back again. And so now that I've been working kind of in the postpartum realm for these last 6 years, I feel like I'll probably dabble there again as the world unwinds some more.
So amazing. I know that the doula work you do is so essential, and literally was my survival through childbirth of 2 children. And I applaud it. And then what you do with Two New Hands, my God, like to be able to have that support at a time in your life that can get really chaotic, and putting away dishes is impossible on days,
Yes.
is so helpful. I can only imagine how much these moms and these parents and these dads and family members are getting from that support. It's essential. Oh, thank you for doing that. And also I think also to share with the viewers, because so some people ask me, what is a doula? When I say I had a doula, right, at both of my child's births. And it's Maggie, my favorite human, back to that. But what do you share when someone says, hey, what's a doula? What does a doula do? If no, they don't know about it, right? Or have any knowledge yet. What
Yeah.
would you say to the audience if that was a question?
Great question. And I think that it has become something that is like more well known,
Yes.
because I would say 6 years ago, people really had never heard of it. I'm sure prior to that, even more so. And now it's like, the doctor's asking you, are you bringing a doula?
Yeah, it's evolved. It's totally evolved. I remember 2 years ago when I had my first Sky, it was kind of like everybody's like, wait, what's a doula? Who's a doula? Like they didn't get it. And then the second time I was like, my doula, and everybody's like, oh, it's totally evolved, right? Everybody needs a doula, just saying. But
Oh.
what does a doula do? I mean, I know what a doula does. They're a lifesaver. But what does a doula do during birth?
Absolutely. So essentially, we are support. We do not deliver babies, but we are like emotional and physical support to people birthing. And so that can look like many different things. Some people are having planned cesareans, which people don't assume you can hire a doula for that, but you can. Other people want to birth, vaginally with certain, they don't want any medication. Other people want an epidural. There's like, everything under the sun. And so as a doula, we want to listen to whatever the birthing person would like to do and try to help make that happen. And sort of one of the things that kind of runs through your mind constantly is, how will they remember this? And I want it to be in a positive light.
Wow.
And so that is kind of like, we're always sort of there. And we do, nothing that's magic. but people think
I would like to differ on that one.
a little magic. No. So we, we do different like comforting touch. So a lot of things with what people would consider like massage and counter pressure and things along those lines. And we know a lot of different techniques that are super helpful for helping people get through contractions and get their mind in a good space. And so that mental and spiritual connection that they're trying to have. And then the other piece too is the advocacy piece. So a lot of times too, we don't realize, especially in a medical system, that we have options.
Mhm.
So a doula is well versed in everything birth. And so if there's questions that maybe are not getting answered by your provider, or while you're actually in the birth, something's happening and you're unsure of what's happening, a doula is there to sort of help guide you through that process. And it's, a lot of times when you show up at the hospital, if you're birthing in a hospital, then you might have the doctor you've been seeing the whole time, you might not.
Mhm.
You've never met these nurses, right? And this doula is this one kind of like continuous person that's been with you from before the birth, through the birth, and after the birth. And so you can process with this person, and other recommendations and referrals and all that kind of stuff. So we're birth coaches, and we, want to have people have a positive experience from the beginning of that baby's life.
I love that. And I agree. I think that every step of the way when I was birthing my sons, Maggie was there to be my advocate and to help me understand what the heck is going on, even the second time around, right? Um, but also to provide that compassion, that comfort and that regulation in a time where you're not really necessarily feeling super regulated and grounded, right? Feeling exposed and vulnerable and so many other emotions, and just having you there was just so essential. I mean, literally, and made me feel at ease in every direction. And I think you also mentioned the spirituality piece, which of course I'm very spiritual, and so I think of the physical world connected to the seven sources, the other space, and the having the boys brought to me, and having a doula that was also connected spiritually to engage in that as well was huge, was everything. So I thank you again. Of course. But I also want to then ask you to talk a little bit about your spirituality and your faith, and if you can share that with the viewers, and and how it works into your career and your life, and what role it plays.
Absolutely. And I should share too that I was raised, and I don't even know if I've shared this with you, Colette. So this is special. So both of my parents became Baha'is before I was born,
Uh-huh.
and they raised me as a Baha'i. And without going into great depth, because there's so much to the faith, you can look it up at Baha'i.org, because there's a lot of material there. But essentially, it's that there's a oneness of all of us. So it's oneness.
Amazing.
There is a universal love between mankind, and that completely emanates everything that happens with doula work. And so, I have been raised in a family and then in a larger community where this is like, a constant theme running. And it's really amazing because there's even so many things, writings and other things related to that, not just in the Baha'i writings, because I've studied a lot of other world religions, but the fact that birth in itself is such a spiritual experience. And there's such a thin veil, right? This baby is in the
Yes.
belly, right? It's like this veil between this world and their world, and
Yes.
the next world when we leave this realm, right? And
Yes.
so there's just so many of these pieces that just feel so connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. I think that everything that from your childhood, from your faith, and what you do has brought you to do this, I'm going to call it magical work, that you do today. And I thank you so much for it, because it is everything. On that note, we are at time. So I want to thank you so much, Maggie, for coming on today and sharing about yourself and the work that you do, the beautiful work. And I always say, until next time, love, light, and healing. Thank you so much, Maggie. Thank you. And thank you to our viewers.